Hello, Squirrel Tribe 2.0. It is Friday, my dudes, and on top of it being Friday, it is the first day of summer vacation. And let me just put it to you this way. It's not going as planned, not in a bad way, just not going as planned. So listen, Monday through Friday during the school year, I have alarms set. I have a 6:30 a.m., I have a 7 a.m., I have a 7:15, I have a 7:30, I have a 7:45, I have an 8, I have an 8:25, and I have an 8:31. Yes, that's a lot of alarms. Fully understand. 6:30 is to wake me up, okay? 7 o'clock is to remind myself to start getting ready for everything else. 7:30 is to wake the kid up. 7:45 is to remind the kid to get up. 8 o'clock is to really remind that kid to get up. 8:25 is to remind us it's time to go. 8:31 is to remind us, hey, we're running late, okay? Today, this morning, well, technically last night, I held up my phone as I was getting into bed and I looked at the phone and I was like, oh, this is the highlight of my Thursday. Not the man's burp in yesterday's video, which was epic. For those of you who watched yesterday's video with my husband and I don't even know how to categorize that thing. All I know is we still cannot watch that without him dying in laughter. I showed it to the kid. Listen, I'll get to that in a second. Let's get back to the cell phone. So I plugged in my cell phone last night to charge. I'm ready for bed. I'm standing next to the bed. I'm all ready to go. I can't see anything. Contacts are out. Blind as a frickin' bat. Hair's down. Fan is on, so my hair is kind of wiggling around or whatever. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, oh, this is the glorious part of today. And I turned off the 6:30 alarm. I turned off the 7 alarm. I turned off the 7:15, off the 7:30, off the 7:45, off the 8 o'clock, off the 8:25, off the 8:31. It was lovely. And I did this at around midnight when we went to bed after trying to watch Fast and the Furious 9 for the second time. Still couldn't make it through it. Absolutely awful compared to the very first 6 movies. They just slowly started getting worse and worse. But I love the franchise because I'm a car girl. But anyway, not the point. Midnight. And I thought to myself, man, tomorrow morning, watch my body wake me up at 6:30 like normal because it's used to it. It's like, come on, it's time to get up, whatever. And I was so hoping. I had fingers crossed. Fingers were crossed that I would not wake up until my stomach growling woke me up. Y'all want to explain to me why at 4:59 a.m. I was like wide freaking awake. Turns out not just me. I look over and the man is like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I have no idea. He was also wide awake. And I was like, oh, this is not cool, dude. Not cool at all. 4:59 on the first day of summer and we're wide awake. It is still pitch black outside. There's not even a single bird doing its little baby chirp. Nobody has gone out the front door. There's no dogs barking anywhere. Nothing. It's quiet and we're both wide awake. Well, he decided he was going to go ahead and get up. He was like, listen, I got some research to do for YouTube. I'll go ahead and get up. So he got up and I was like, I'm just going to stretch out across the bed for a second. I'm going to stretch. I'm literally just going to be like, stretch the arms, stretch the legs, get up in here and, kick the covers around and whatever else. And I don't know what happened. I know he got up. All I know is that at 7:29, I woke up again. And I was like, well, turns out I just needed the whole bed to myself. I was a little selfish bed-wise this morning. So he got up at 5 o'clock. I slept like a freaking rock for 2.5 hours after he got out of bed. And then I got up. And it was a little different today than normal. Because again, normally I'll get up at 6:30, I come out, I make his coffee, I make my coffee. I sit at the couch, he sits at the table. We both open our laptops and we both get to work because that's the very first thing we do, get to work. This morning I was like, I love you all immensely, but every single one of y'all can wait. I want my coffee and I want to sit on that couch and stare at the wall and do not a damn thing for as long as humanly possible. I made it probably like 14 or 16 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I need my computer. I had to check everything, go through, comments and whatnots for both channels, and then check out other things, go to buy me a coffee, look at the blog, blah, 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 all kinds of stuff. Check the news, check bank accounts, literally do a little bit of everything, check her grades, make sure that she did, in fact, make it to 8th grade, which she did. Yay, that's awesome. Oh, side note, one of her friends yesterday at the last day of school, her school handed her friend a paper that says you must enroll for summer school. They literally waited till the last minute to let this child know she was not going to pass this grade without summer school. Who does that? I was actually thinking about it, and this has nothing to do with what I was going to talk about, but I was thinking about it. In Georgia, it's so weird, okay? It's so weird. In Georgia, her school had like 3,000 plus kids. There was a lot of freaking kids, a lot of teachers. It felt like pandemonium. But the teachers constantly emailed to say, hey, listen, you know, she didn't turn this in on time, or she did really great on this, or I think she needs to work on this. Like they would email. They were like, I don't know what the right word is, but they were interactive. There we go. Interactive with the parents, at least the teachers that she had in 6th grade were. And I was expecting that here. And here, I never got an email from parents whatsoever, not a single time. Now her school would send out on Fridays, they'd send out a text message with a link to like their school paper for the week and what was coming up and whatever else like that. But I never heard anything from a teacher all year long saying, hey, she's struggling here, or she's doing great here, or kudos to this, or I'd like her to stop doing this. Nothing. I didn't get a good, a bad, a ugly, and nothing in between. So I paid attention. They have apps here. They have something called the Focus app, which shows you the kids' grades as long as the teachers are actually inputting things on time. But that's all it shows you. It doesn't show you any individual work that they did and what they got on it, or what was right or what was wrong. They don't get it back. She didn't have anything to bring home to me ever in life. So it's a little different here in Florida versus Georgia when it comes to the school. I like the way they do things here, generally speaking, but it was definitely a little weird to get to the very last day and go, I'm pretty sure we're good here. Like I sat down, I sat on the toilet one morning. I had to pee and whatnots. And I was like, well, while I'm here, I might as well do some math and make sure the kid's gonna graduate 7th grade. And, you know, so I did all the words. There's a word in there. I can't think of what it's called. Y'all, my brain refuses to brain right now. We probably just walked about 4 miles, so that might have something to do with it on a full stomach, but we'll get to that in a second. I can't think average. See, I just gotta talk myself around to it. I did the averages of her first semester, second semester, no, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. I did the averages to make sure that she had passing grades on every single thing. They weren't A's and they weren't B's, but they weren't F's, and that's what matters. So she passed everything, no problems, whatever, easy peasy-ish, going to 8th grade. That's lovely. But the fact of the matter is, if I had done this and it had come up that one of them was failing, I wouldn't know if that would mean that she would need summer school or something. They didn't send anything home, so we're assuming everything's good, right? But for that girl, her friend who gets this letter right now, literally the last day of school, that says she has to go to summer school, I asked her, I said, did you get anything throughout the year? Did they tell your parents that you were having issues? Did your parents know? And she's like, no. And it's like, well, what happens to your summer vacation? What happens to your summer plans? What happens if y'all had something out of the state that you were supposed to do? And now literally everything is put on hold, or you don't go to the next grade. You have to, you know, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're going to have to repeat. That feels like an unfair time to find out. And I know people out there will be like, well, as parents, you have to keep up with these things. You should know her grades and everything else. And that's true. But even my kid, up until yesterday, even still yesterday, all her grades were not input. I still don't know what technically her final 4th quarter grades are, because there's teachers out there who did not have everything in by the last school day. How are parents supposed to plan anything if they don't honestly know exactly where their kid's going to be? Although I guess if it looks like your kid might possibly fail something and have to hold back, you would have a pretty good idea before the last week of school. It was still kind of a crappy way for this girl to end her 7th grade year with a letter from the principal going, you're not going next year unless you go to summer school. But anyway, so this morning, I forgot where the frick I was. So I got up, I did that, I had that. Oh, so then I tell the man, I said, I'm gonna let the kids sleep in, you know, like it's a Saturday or a Sunday, because it's the first day of summer. And she has no idea what kind of rude awakenings we're gonna have this summer, because I have plans, y'all. I have plans, and they are called eat less, eat better, work out more, watch less TV, stay off your phone a little bit more. That's what we're gonna do. So I let her sleep, and I told the man, I said, hey, when you're hungry, let me know. I'll fix you some breakfast. I personally am not going to eat anything for breakfast. I don't want breakfast right now. I'm gonna just chill for a minute, but I want to juice. I want to do a lot of juice. So he decided he wanted food at like 9:30 or 10. So I made him some eggs and some waffles and called it done. And then I decided to juice a bunch of stuff. Let me show you. I decided to juice a bunch of stuff. I'm going to show you a little bit of everything, because I got a bunch of different ones. I did 2 of everything, I think. Hold on. Oh, don't drop this thing. Y'all, about to drop something bad. All right. So, ew. They look so gross when you first make them. So I got little 8-ounce jars. This looks like pee in a jar. I just realized this. This looks like I need to go, I stole somebody's pee to pass a drug test. That's what this looks like. Not that I know how that works. I'm just saying I've heard of it before. So there's this one. This one is my celery, apples, and lime juice, okay? This one is This is the bright green one that looks neon, like Ecto Cooler back in the day. If you guys ever had the high C Ecto Cooler, the one with the little green thing from Ghostbusters, I loved that stuff. But this one is, what is this one? This one is broccoli, kale, celery, and it said put pear, but I didn't have pear, so I put apple. I haven't tasted it yet. Could taste like a goat's butt. I have absolutely no idea. Hopefully it's good. This one is accidental. What is this one? Oh, this one is the one with the grapes, the kale, the spinach, the apples, and a little bit of water. Okay. This one here, this is the one I'm slightly worried about. Y'all see that separation right there? So this one I actually put spirulina in it first, and it's grapes and blueberries, apple, grapes, blueberries, apple, spirulina. I think I put kale in this one. No, I don't remember what I did. But I will tell you that my little Dash juicer, the little thing I love so much, it hates blueberries. It came out like a weird sludgy thing again. So I have to go buy Dollar Tree to get that really fine strainer like my mom has. Because I don't want to drink this with the little, I don't know what's in there, but don't put blueberries in little baby juicers. That's just what I figured out. So that's what I have. So this morning for breakfast for myself, what I did was I had one of these 8-ounce things of the apple, celery, lime juice. It was 2 tablespoons of lime. I had that and I mixed it. I poured in half of this with it because this by itself is like, y'all, literally the most disgusting thing in the history of disgust. But you mix this with the juices and gives that a little bubbly. So tasty. So that's what I did for my breakfast. Then I tell the kid, I said, hey, because yesterday she really wanted Chick-fil-A for her last day of school or whatever else, but we ended up she went to the movies and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So today I was like, do you want Chick-fil-A? And she said, yes. I said, cool, we'll get Chick-fil-A. And she's like, awesome. I didn't really tell her the fine print to getting the Chick-fil-A because there was like some microscopic fine print that if I had mentioned it, it should have been like, never mind, I will just eat air. I don't want to do it. The fine print was, we'll get Chick-fil-A, but we're going to walk our little butts to Chick-fil-A. We're going to burn a couple calories on the way there. And when we get there, we're going to get the regular size fries. We're not going to go large, okay? And if you want a drink, you can have a small one and then you can have some water, okay? And then when we're done, we're going to take the long way back. We're going to walk all that off. And that's exactly what we did. And at the end, she was like, oh my God, I don't ever want to do that again. And I was like, cool. Anytime you want to go anywhere this summer, we're going to walk. So it was actually not nearly as bad as I expected. But here's what I figured out while we were at Chick-fil-A. And I know I've told you guys before how I've like literally almost died randomly from breathing, okay? So we're in Chick-fil-A and we're sitting there and everything's going perfectly fine. Everything's perfectly fine. And then this lady and her daughter and like baby come sit down right next to us. And I noticed that there's a scent, like it smells good, not a bad scent. Something smells good. And like, that smells good, right? Well, I'm eating, and the next thing I know, my ears start to feel stuffy. It's like really, really weird, right? Ears start to feel stuffy. And then I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's fine. And then like my eyes start to feel just a hint weird. And I'm like, no, this is great, this is fine, drink your water. I had a large water, so I stopped eating, started drinking my water. Well, the lady pulls out whatever's in her bag and starts putting on more of whatever that smell was. And it is such a strong smell. Literally, the next thing I know, I'm literally having to tell the man who's in the middle of a phone call, I'm like, I have to get out of here. I'm having trouble breathing. Like everything started to get a little tight. And then my ears were like super stuffy feeling. And then my head just felt cottony, right? And so we get outside and the kid and I go outside and the man's still on his phone call. I'm like, I'm fine. I just need fresh air. And so I make the kid, we have this handshake thing that we do. And I said, just focus on me. Keep me focused on you. Let's do this handshake. I'm going to drink my water. We're going to do this. It's taking my mind off everything else. Just pay attention to me. Just stay focused on me. Make sure that I'm good. And she goes, okay. She goes, your pupils are friggin' tiny. They're super tiny. And I was like, that sounds about accurate. So whatever this woman put on, definitely coconut oil based. She was a Black woman, and a lot of Black men and women use coconut oil, like straight up coconut oil. Like my brother-in-law uses it, but he uses it not near me. And then we stay separated for a little while until it has worn off or whatever else. But the fact that just breathing it in literally has an effect on me is slightly terrifying. And I notice it more and more. I can't go to Sam's Club for too long, and I can't go back in the bakery area because they use coconut something back there. And there's been 2 times when I've been to Sam's Club where it's like, it gets hard to breathe if I go back towards the bakery area. So then I have to go back up front and then try to make like quick little spurts back and forth for what I need. So Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A was great. However, Chick-fil-A could have gone horribly wrong if I hadn't realized exactly what was happening. So we get outside, the man finishes his phone call and he says to the kid, he goes, hey, listen, let's take the long way back. And the kid is like, what do you mean? He's like, instead of going back home the way we walked, let's take the long way. And she's like, ugh, okay. Because she did not understand what the long way meant. And I didn't let her know until we got a couple, yards away. And I was like, you do realize that the long way back is like 2 miles. And she's like, are you kidding me right now? And I was like, no, it's good. This is why we try not to eat too much and why you didn't need anything like crazy to drink or whatever else, because we're going to work off some calories on the way there. We're going to eat. We're going to work off the rest of the calories on the way back. And then it's great. And she goes, well, by the time I get home, I'm going to be hungry. And I said, sure enough, you better chug that glass of water. So that's what we're working on. The plan this summer, and she's actually down for it. We had a long discussion. I said, the plan this summer is for when you go back to school in 8th grade, for you to be the most confident you've ever been in your life because you've learned the healthiest ways to be. Like we used to, like I said, I've told you guys before, we were like super into the gym and eating healthy and everything else before C19. And then everything just kind of got thrown around. And then we moved here and we all just kind of gave in to the temptations of the food on the beach and the drinks and the Starbucks all the time and the popcorn at the movies and the sitting around hanging out with friends, not really doing anything physical. And I told her, I said, listen, this summer, I'd like all of us to get back into the habit of putting kind of health first as opposed to taste buds first. And if you guys watch the main channel, SquirrelTribe, I actually kind of talked about that today with the taste buds winning over everything. So the plan this summer is to do as much physical activities as we can outdoors as a family, to eat a little healthier as a family. There will be those moments of splurges. Obviously, it's all good for your metabolism to every once in a while, shake it up a little bit. But I told her, I said, if there's things that you want that are going to be not so great on your stomach, what we're going to do is find a way to either walk there or to work out in some form or fashion before, so that it's more of a burn it off kind of thing. So that's that. Listen, I told the man I only need like 15 minutes to do this video. He and her are walking Mac so I can record for you guys. But I have to tell you what happened at Chick-fil-A, not just the me almost like whatevering. So we're sitting at Chick-fil-A and hopefully the guy, again, I know I should not tell these things because I wear my shirts and anybody could have looked it up, and gentlemen, sir, guy, if you're watching and whatever, I'm sorry, but maybe you need to know this because nobody's bothered to tell you in life. So we're sitting there eating. And there's a guy next to us with probably about 17 kids. It's an exaggeration, but there are a lot of kids there. There's a lot of kids. And he stops one of the Chick-fil-A employees as she's going by. And he basically starts telling her how crappy their social media stuff is and how they need to hire him and how he needs to be put on retainer because he's so great at what he does with like social media stuff and recording and editing. And Kevin and I are sitting there like, it feels like a really weird time and way to try to get yourself an interview. Like he's got his kids there. He's sitting down. He's wearing a t-shirt and shorts. It's like, I don't know if like that's the mentality of a lot of people now, is you're supposed to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. That's the phrase, right? Well, you also, if you're trying to get hired by somebody like a Chick-fil-A or anywhere else at all, you don't generally do it while sitting down surrounded by your kids. It didn't make sense to me. I literally wanted to turn around and be like, sir, why don't you ask for like an interview time or like a moment to meet the manager, a moment to do whatever else? And I understand, put yourself out there and try to get in the door and whatever else, however you can. But it was like a really long conversation, and it was a whole lot of telling them how bad they were doing and then saying how great he was. And I'm like, it comes across a little bit wrong. Maybe that's just me, but it felt a little wrong. And the lady, it's Chick-fil-A, so everything is my pleasure and a smile for everything. But you could tell she kind of wanted to like scoot away a few times, but she never got that chance because he kept going and going and going. And I just want to put this out there for you guys, for anybody out there, ladies, gentlemen, whoever, if you are in the market to do something job-wise, work-wise, whatever-wise, as somebody who has my own company, had a different company, ran numerous Fortune 500 stores, I would like to just nicely suggest don't try to show how great you are while sitting on your butt in a location that isn't appropriate for an interview you weren't invited to do. And I don't know if that's the nicest way to put it. And I probably sound like a bitch right now. And I don't mean to. It's just one of those things where outside looking in, like I wonder if he could have floated up out of his body for a second and looked down. He would have been like, I didn't think this one through. this probably wasn't my best moment, and I probably could have done this a little bit better and had a better chance of actually getting this job that I want. It just, it was wrong. It came across wrong. I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, I just want to tell you guys about that. So we're going to do something now. I don't know what. I don't know what we're going to do now, but we're going to do something fun, I'm sure, because it's the first day of summer, my dudes, and it is 5:43. It's not hot as balls out, thankfully. The breeze has been nice, and no, our pool is completely crowded. There's 8,000 children in that thing. So, oh, that's what I was gonna tell you. So we're walking back from Chick-fil-A. And I tell the kid, I said, stop, because the man is recording while he's walking. And I'm like, let Dad get a little farther forward. I need you to see this. She's holding on to my ice water, my large ice water, and she's drinking it, right? And so I go to yesterday's video from 2.0, and I move it up to the point right before her dad belches like nobody's business. And I hit play, and I said, just listen. And I put it next to her ear. And the second he burps, she literally dribbles water everywhere because she starts laughing so hard. And I was like, okay, now you have to watch it. I was like, I didn't even realize the face I made when it happened. So then, of course, she starts cracking up watching me make the face when he belches. It was the most, anyway, it was a lot of fun. So that's that. I'm gonna go hang out with my family now and enjoy the last bit of the first day of summer vacation. I hope you guys and gals, my dudes, are all enjoying your Friday as well. I love you all immensely. So thank you for hanging out here with me, and I will see you guys again, hopefully this weekend. If not, Mimosa Monday, my dudes. Bye.